Hello. So we are talking about interdisciplinarianism. Is that a word? I think so. So, what is interdisciplinary studies? Well, in the article, it gave lots of examples, and really, from what I was reading, they talked a lot about how to incorporate music into other kind of studies. So, for example, or I guess a lot of the examples were more about putting other studies into music. So, right away, one of the first examples was about how a music teacher had students who really enjoyed working with the texture of music, and so he found these poems that were really cool, and it ended up being that you needed two readers for the poems, but the kids didn't quite get it, but when they did, they got super excited about it, and they were really into the poems and everything. And I thought that was really cool because a lot of times kids aren't necessarily interested in things like poetry because it can be old and it can be boring, and maybe they just don't like poetry, or they think it's girly or something like that. And the teacher found a way to get his students to see it in a different way. So I thought that was really interesting. But overall, I think that when it comes to our own classrooms, it's going to be more about incorporating music into our lessons rather than incorporating our lessons into music. So what I mean by that is we're going to have to come up with, songs or some kind of chanting or rhythms or beats or something that goes along with what we're already teaching. Because I think that it's really actually going to help our students more if they are actually interested in the lesson because of the music. And I know when I was a student, I actually had a lot of better learning experiences personally when there was music incorporated. So, and I've talked about this before, but the quadratic formula, I totally remember that because it was put to a song, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I haven't used that since my freshman year of high school, and yet here I am still remembering it because it was put to a song. Some of the other things, like when I was in Spanish class, my teacher put, one of the songs, or she took a Lady Gaga song and put conjugations of words into the Lady Gaga song. And so I still remember that. And I had another Spanish teacher who had, the Spanish alphabet pronunciation in a song, and just multitudes of other songs with Spanish vocabulary. And those are things that I remember that are experiences in the classroom that really stick out to me. And so I really think that, if you can put it to music, if it makes sense with your lesson, if, it just makes sense in general, then go for it, because you're going to be helping your students better, and they're going to have a more memorable educational experience. I think one of the biggest things when it comes to the music classroom is there are a lot of social studies things incorporated into music for some reason, and I'm not really sure why that decision was made, but I think one of the most popular things that people tend to remember is the 50 Nifty United States song. And why is that? Why do we remember all of the states in alphabetical order? Because they were 50 and they were nifty and they were put to a song. And so here we are remembering all 50 states just because it was fun and it was a song and everybody enjoyed it. But if I had to sit there and take my list and say, okay, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, I'm not going to remember that. And it's just going to be tedious and hard, and for me, it just would not be a good way to memorize things. I have always had to make some kind of rhythm, rhyme, pattern, song, something for extensive lists that I've had to memorize. When I was a kid, I had to memorize all the books of the Bible, and I have a song for that. And, so it's just, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, music stays in our head better than just memorizing lists. And, there's all kinds of memes and funny posts about how, I can remember even songs that I hate. I can remember every word, and my brain is just full of music lyrics. Like, why do I remember music lyrics to songs that I haven't heard since I was, 10 years old? Who knows? But for some reason I do. And so why not incorporate music into my lesson plans and help my kids actually remember their lesson plans and give them something, more, I guess, useful to do with the song lyric space in their head. So overall, I really enjoyed this article, and I really think that interdisciplinary studies are important, especially when it's including music into other subjects, because it's really just going to help out your students in the long run. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.